Hello and welcome to A Friday Lines, brought to you by Little Birdie TV and topsport.com.au, punting, form and Manscaped. All your essential items for life. MG, the A-team's back. She's warmed up the chair, but just wasn't quite up to standard. And just as I say, welcome to you on International Donut Day.
International Donut Day. Did you bring a box in for us?
No, I haven't. I'll get some on the way home. My favourite day of the year. Just gives me an excuse to have a few doughies today, so looking forward to it.
International Donut Day on your calendar. That's good to see. Yeah, the A-team, self-proclaimed, is it?
Definitely, yeah, and let Nikki know all about that, please.
Okay, I'm sure she'll be watching, so she'll see it for sure.
As we welcome Toprope up there in orange. Toprope, how's the week been?
Not bad, OB. I've seen some courageous acts, but calling out Nikki moment one of the podcast, I'll tell you what, they're going to start giving you an award if you manage to survive the week, that's for sure.
Yeah, well said. I'm taking matters in my own hands. MG, before we get started into the AFL and NRL, another big week in sport and a big weekend coming up.
Yeah, plenty going on. We've had the tennis has been keeping up at night, or it has for me anyway, with the French Open going on. So, it was good watching Rafa Nadal. They keep potting him on clay. I'm not sure the formula. They keep coming up with these models of how he was such an outsider against Djokovic, and what a match it was for a quarterfinal as well. So. Awesome to be on the right side of it. He's just got to go and get the job done now. And, we've got the women's final coming up as well with Swiatek, your new favourite tennis player, who's on a streak of, what is she up to, 34 or something?
Yeah, if she wins the final, that's 35 in a row, equals the sort of the 21st century record with Venus Williams in 2000.
Yep.
But she's still got a long way to go to equal Martina Navratilova's 74 wins in, I think it was 87, 88.
Jeez, you weren't even born then, OB.
I was. I started punting back then, so that was my first bet.
Yeah, well, she's Top Sports have got her up at $1.13 in the final, so that's prohibitive odds, and only for multi-punters, I would have thought, against the teenager Goff. So it'll be a good match. I think she'd be value Goff, but yeah, it's hard to pot a bird who is or a female player, I should say, that's won 34 in a row, and she's just dominated, hasn't she? She hasn't even been close to losing a set, especially in the French.
Hello to all our female listeners out there.
We're in all sorts,
well.
mate.
Going well.
We're in all sorts. I'm the only one who's kept his head above water.
If there's only one of us here next week, you'll know why. NBA finals also kicking off today as well. Golden State Warriors $1.65, the Celtics $2.30 for the overall series wins. The best thing about that is it's 7 games, 7-game grand final series. It's just epic.
Yeah, it's been, it feels like the playoff series has been going forever. It's been about a 2-month campaign, so the NBA guys they'll be looking forward to the spell after the next week and a half. But yeah, really good. Awesome to watch. Obviously, game one's kicking off. And the Warriors are, $1.65 favourites in the final, and the Celtics at $2.30. So yeah, hopefully it runs deep, and we can get a 6 or 7 game series.
And Toprope, the main headline in the NRL this week has been PVL picking the Australian side himself.
I don't know if you recall, when Vladimir Putin took over from Boris Yeltsin, he was kind of seen as a reasonably moderate guy. And 25 years later, we're invading Ukraine. Look, when you achieve total power, you sometimes abuse that. PVL's now selecting the Australian team, so bit of a left field decision. To be fair, having looked at this New South Wales team, he would do better than anyone who picked that side. So he's ahead of at least a few of them. But curious decision.
We'll get to the State of Origin later in the show. Plenty to dissect there. But last night the NRL kicked off with the Cowboys 32-6 winners. They've been quite impressive and probably surprised us on this show.
Yeah, look, I had them for the wooden spoon. I think I said in the pre-season guide, this is one of the worst rosters I've seen. And so total credit to the coaching. The Todd Payton's done their rock hard fit. They have not conceded a try in the 20 minutes after halftime now for 8 consecutive games, which is a ridiculous record. The defence has been absolutely top notch. They're playing, not only with kind of, speed in running, but kind of speed in decision making. They're not kind of taking settlers to kind of set up a play to go back to the other side. It's just left to right, bang, bang, bang. Playing some great football, the Cowboys. And look, the Titans are only missing a couple of players. The Cowboys were missing, 4 pretty important players and absolutely annihilated the Titans last night. So Huge win for the Cowboys. Just playing at the time, Justin Holbrook head well and truly on the block after that loss.
And did I read correctly that Mel Meninga's still involved, but back living in Canberra? That can't be good for anyone.
Well, look, let's just hope he gets back involved in politics. That was one of the great political careers of all time. I think it lasted 41 seconds and he was out. So maybe with PVL kind of moving his way into Mel's territory, Mel's going to start moving his way back into PVL's domain, that of politics.
That's right. Anyway, MG, we'll get straight into it. It's time now for Friday Lines, brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au, not only for your NRL and AFL action, but also your French Open, NBA, golf, and any good sporting betting is found at topsport.com.au. But we look at the first match of the round, which is a beauty tonight at Marvel Stadium. Western Bulldogs $1.74 against the Geelong Football Club, $2.10. The line minus 3.5, over under 167.5. If I was a betting man, I think they've got this market totally wrong. What's your take on this?
Jeez, we're on the opposite sides of the fence again, OP. My opening line was going to be the bookies, they started the wrong way around and they've finally taken the whole week to get to where the market should be. I was actually surprised Geelong come out 2.5-point favourite at the start of the week. There's been very good push for the Bulldogs, as you can see, 5-point swing now. 3.5-point favourites. I think that's where the betting should be. I'm not sure the reasoning why at the Dome that they thought Geelong should deserve to be favourites. B. Smith coming back for the Bulldogs is obviously a good in. I just think they're both bringing good form. I mean, this game should be either or. I think if I was betting in this game, which I'm probably going to leave, OB, the margins would be the either under 15.5 or under 24.5 is where I'd be looking to partake if I was going to have an investment. Bulldogs coming off 3 soft kills, so this will be a good test for them. They've had a couple of easy wins, and Geelong have won now 2 in a row, which is the first time they've broken their sequence of win-loss for about 8 weeks in a row. So it'd be a great match. Like it, the scheduling at Marvel, take the weather out of it, which is a bit around in Melbourne. Geelong have got a very good dominant record, which is probably what you're hanging your hat on, OB, that they've won 11 of the last 13 against the Bulldogs. So it's a sustained run where the Bulldogs haven't had much success. And the other note, even though I think the total's right around the 167, it's been back down a little. 6 of the last 7 between these two have gone over. So at the Dome, probably expect some points, even though I think the total's probably about right. So tough game, but a good one to watch.
And for mine, I think Geelong is still the premiership sleeper. Okay. Cameron, Hawkins, I think De Conning down back, Blitzar's running around. I think Tom Stewart is in the top 3 players in the game at the moment on form. He's sensational down there. That's just how I see it. But time will tell in that one. As we look at the NRL, only one game tonight due to State of Origin during the week. Round 13, Penrith versus the Bulldogs. Penrith $1.31. Canterbury $3.60. The line minus 9.5. The over under 37.5. Penrith with some Origin players out. It's first versus 16th. Any hope for the Bulldogs?
Yeah, big hope for the Bulldogs. Go back to this game, the corresponding game last year. The Panthers, who had Matt Burton in the halves, took on obviously severely under strength again, took on the Tigers and were absolutely smoked, lost 26-6 that day. They're missing Cleary, they're missing Luai, they're missing Isaiah Yeo. That's their three key playmakers. They're missing Brian To'o, Stephen Crichton, Liam Martin as well. The Bulldogs, to the surprise of nobody, have 0 Origin players, so they'll be as full strength as they get. So I think the Dogs are coming off the stick here. I'll be definitely having something like that for 360. Top bet in this one though is the under. Look, these guys typically play under games. 13 of the last 16 have gone under the total. The Bulldogs have gone under in 14 of 17 of scoring 20 plus. Penrith, they're missing all their key playmakers. I'm expecting them to be fairly disjointed. The defence probably holds, but their attack maybe not so much. So I'll be back in under 37.5 with a great degree of confidence. I'll be back in the Dogs straight out at $3.60.
Oh, you've heard it here first. And just watch for, if they get enough ball to him, watch for a Josh Adokar hat trick to say to Freddie, up yours. As we look to the second AFL game that we're analysing this afternoon, round 12, Melbourne $1.25, Sydney Swans $3.95. The line minus 23.5, over under 153.5. This looks an absolute belter for mine. Stephen May out, Franklin out. That sort of equalises there. Salem, Langdon, Harms, and McDonald back in. Amadi coming in to replace Franklin. This looks a beauty on paper, MG.
Yeah, it's a cracker. I'll tell you what, for 6 matches this week, OB, we've got 3 that we're covering are the top end of the table. So there's some really good matches, even though we're down a couple this week to look at. This one vies for match of the round as well. It's first v 7th. Melbourne obviously off their first loss of the year last week to Fremantle. So they'll be looking to respond pretty hard. And as you said, 4 big ins, even though they lose May. This is probably close to their best side they've put on the park this year. So I just think there may be a little recorrection during the week. Melbourne might come out steaming. The market's certainly gone that way. I think, personally, I just think with this is a good spot for Sydney. They've won 9 of the last 11 against Melbourne head-to-head, so they've got a really good record over them. They've covered 8 of those as well. So for a spot for Sydney getting almost 4 goals start, I think if I was going this way, I think Sydney are the light lean for me, and I think you can wait late because I think the market's only going to move to Melbourne if it is. So there's no rush to back Sydney, but at 4 goals start at the MCG, there could be a bit of weather around, and with a lowish total of low 150s in there. Remembering the head-to-head, these two teams, 8 of the last 9 have been under games as well, so they don't like playing free-scoring games. So I think 4 goals start OB with a total of 153 range is a pretty good bet.
And just watch for Isaac Heaney here. I reckon he's just due to come out and play well. And I think Melbourne sort of just struggle a little bit with that medium-sized forward.
Yep.
It'd be interesting to see how he goes. But I like the Swans.
Yep.
I think at the MCG as well, I think they play their best football at the MCG, which is surprising. They don't play there a lot, but I think Longmire and the assistant coaches up there have got them humming for the MCG style of game. So it looks a beauty, and can't wait for that one on Saturday night. As we look to the next NRL game, which is also on Saturday night, it's Manly $1.50 against the New Zealand Warriors, $2.65. The line minus 5.5, over under 40.5. It's 11th versus 12th here. Both teams struggling a little bit. Manly are probably slightly better on paper, but you just never know what the Warriors are going to pull out. Top rope.
I've got a fair idea what the Warriors are going to pull out. It's going to be absolute rot, which they've pulled out pretty much for about the last 10 weeks. So reasonably confident on that front. Manly, I guess, is the variable here. Manly have been dreadfully out of form in Tom Trbojevic, but they've had a very, very difficult run of it lately. They have had an incredibly tough little run. We'll just pull it up here and have a look who they've played in recent times. But they've in the last 6 weeks, they've lost to top 8 side Cronulla, lost to top 8 side South Sydney with a player sent off, beat the West Tigers, lost to a Red Hot Broncos, lost to Eels by 2, who are firmly entrenched at the top of the ladder, and lost to the Melbourne Storm away at Melbourne. So I'm happy to kind of forgive a lot of their part. I think in that run, only that Broncos loss was heinous. I think they've done enough for me to want to get back. So, I'll be on the minus 5.5 here. They've got a great record against the Warriors, won 16 of their last 21. I think the Warriors are absolutely, on paper, I think you can make a pretty strong case that they're the worst team in the competition. So, of course, the Bulldogs can't get out of their own way, so they'll probably still run last, but it doesn't mean the Warriors aren't the worst team in the comp. Do love a bet here, though. Love the over in this one. 8 of the last 9 have gone over the total. Manly are a huge over team at Brookvale. 19 of 26 have gone over. The Warriors, they're a 57% over team with an underdog of 4 or more. Backing the over, max confidence, and backing the Manly Seagulls minus 5.5. Absolutely no way this game starts less than 6.5, so I want to be on this one early.
You heard it. You heard it first there, punters. Get on now. As we look at arguably the match of the round, it's 5:20 at Optus Stadium on Sunday. Fremantle $1.91, Brisbane $1.91 as well. The line is even. and the over-under 160.5. This looks an absolute belter on paper. Third versus second. Huge test for Brisbane this. Away from home, travelling across the country, arguably the toughest road trip. Fremantle are in ripping form. They are a little bit hot and cold when they sort of start drinking a little bit of their own bathwater. But this looks an absolute belter, and it's great that it's on 5:20 on Sunday. Extends out the weekend, something to look forward to. I do like these games, and I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, you like them because you get to switch off straight after the game finishes. Then the poor workers have got to start prepping for the Monday show. But anyway, that's another story. The five. We don't need the 5:20 starts on a Sunday. I'm sorry. This is the cracker. Best defense v the best offense here. OB. I think this is match of the round. Really keen to bet this. I actually put out a little early sting, which I don't think I've done this year for the week ahead. OB. I was staggered that Brisbane weren't favourite in this game, and that's before going in Freo beating Melbourne last week. Just think the bookies got it wrong, and then they obviously readjusted the wrong way again and put up +6.5. It reached again, so had to double dip on this one. Brisbane will start favourites in this game, and deservedly be favourites. I know it's a tough road trip and everything like that, but Brisbane are a better side. I just truly believe they're the second best side in the comp. They'll be up for this. McCluggage back in. Still no Fife for Freo. I think that would have given them a big boost, and maybe that's what the bookies were maybe hanging their hat on a bit, that maybe Fife is going to come back and be another forward option. They've lost Tabernar. I think he's a big loss because that takes away the attention that Lob provides. It's very hard, very different matchup, isn't OB, when they've got to guard two big units as opposed to one. So now that allows Brisbane defence to, not be under pressure, because that would have been an Achilles heel for them. They got kind of Harris Andrews, and then the next step down is kind of Gardner. So it would have been hard to match up to. So I think Tabernar is a big loss in this game. As I said, I think Brisbane will start favourite. Their offense is absolutely humming. 6 straight 100-plus points. Freo hate scoring. The advantage to Freo is that it is at a night game, so the scoring might be a little low. But hard to tip at pick now, but really like Brisbane at the plus. But the over keeps dropping. The total keeps dropping, 164 to down to 160. I think this is an overplay head-to-head between these two teams. 6 of the last 7 games have gone over, OB. So Brisbane and over for me. I'm keen.
I know you've always liked Brisbane, so we'll watch that one with interest, definitely. As we go to the third match of NRL analysis, which is on at a slightly better time, 4:05 on a Sunday. Canberra Raiders 2:45 against the Sydney Roosters, $1.57. The line 4.5, over under 40.5 there. Raiders inconsistent. The Roosters look like they're hitting their straps. I heard during the week, Toprope, that the Roosters are your third pick behind the Storm and the Panthers. Should any hope the Raiders here?
I don't think so. Where I'm at, like, the Roosters have 3 Origin players, the Raiders have 2. But the Roosters missing the great James Tedeschi, but I think the Raiders have probably been hard to hit here. They're missing the 2 best players, Jack White and Josh Papali, so 2 most impactful anyway. Raiders have come as one of their last 9 as a home underdog, 9 of their last 25 day games, 12 of their last 31 at home, full stop. So I like Joey Manu at fullback. I think he's a much stronger player when he gets his hands on the ball. And when he plays 5'8" at fullback, the Roosters have 10-1. So I'm going to go with the Roosters to cover this spread here. I think they can get the job done. I think Trent Robinson's got these guys kind of firing now, and I think we can kind of see run away with a fairly comfortable victory. For those after a bit of the old Ric Flair, I'll be back in the 13 plus and the 19 plus Roosters minus. I
watched the Roosters last week against the Sharks, and they were very, very impressive. I know during the week there was a lot of talk around the Sharks and Fitzgibbon up against his old mentor, but they were simply outstanding last week.
Yeah, real good side, real good here at this time of year. Quite 2 sides kind of vying for that, top of the second tier sides, and the Roosters really made a mark. And I think they showed that they've got some gears, and they can really kind of elevate up to that top level, kind of at the business end of the season. So, I don't think the road doesn't worry the Roosters at all. I just think that they're going to be too good for a Raiders side that really is going to struggle to find points without Jack White.
As we go to the other games of AFL, I know there's a few belters on for this weekend, but there's a couple of duds as well, MG. I can't say that as an AFL employee, but Adelaide West Coast, the Crows $1.11, West Coast $7, the line minus 38.5, over under 147.5. Taylor Walker back in now. Anything there?
Yeah, this is not a highlight for the round. Might be watching the racing during this one. One team's lost 5 straight and the other's lost 7. It's not a good game. There's rain forecast as well, just to make it even more cloudier. And the line's gone from 33 to 38.5 OB. So, yeah, this is not a game I'd be touching. West Coast have lost their last 7 by an average of 52, all at least by 52 points. So, it's just hard to come in either side, but you can't front up to back Adelaide at a big minus either. So, yeah, not a game for me.
As the Gold Coast up there at their home away from home at TIO Stadium in Darwin, they're $1.09 against the Kangaroos $7.50. The line minus 39.5 and the over under 163.5. Not sure if you watched the game last week at TIO. Very scrappy. So this one's starting a little bit earlier, a little bit of sort of twilight game.
Certainly did watch last week's. Gold Coast were a very good bet against your mob, I think. I don't know. Someone owes me a bottle of goose that was on the show, I think. I'm not sure who that might be. But, Gold Coast are very good. They stayed up there during the week as well, so they'll be well acclimatised and everything like that. I think it's hard to tip big lines here, but Gold Coast will smash the Kangaroos, and it's just what kind of mood they're in. The line has checked from 44 down to 39 after teams. The Gold Coast do lose Casbolt, which has just checked it a little. But I just think the Kangaroos have lost their last 7 by at least 47 points. So they're getting absolutely torched, the Kangaroos. They've got a big road trip. Gold Coast are acclimatised up there. It's going to be like a home ground for them. I just think they'll run rampant. So, yeah, 39.5 if you're having a bet, I can only tip the minus.
Heard it here first. Jason Horne-Francis will be playing in Adelaide next year. Right. No doubts in the world. He'll be playing for the Crows. But anyway, we'll touch on that another time. And the final game we'll go through is Hawthorn $2.50. Collingwood are in ripping form at the moment, $1.53. The line 10.5, over under 168.5. This is where Sam Mitchell's at his best. Don't write off the Hawks, MG. Don't write them off.
Yeah, they've lost 5 of their last 6, so they're hard to come into at this stage. How they beat Brisbane, well, it was down in Tassie, but they beat them by 5 points. That was a bit of a question mark. So I'm saying the Hawks are travelling great here, OB. And to come in, there has been money for them, plus 12 to plus 10.
They were awful last week, awful.
They were awful. I think Collingwood are going well enough here. It's not a bad spot for them, minus 10.5 at the G. There is a bit of a weather watch. That's probably the only thing, because I think Hawthorn are a very good wet weather football side. They love their footy down in Tassie, obviously. Just think this is a good spot. I think Collingwood up and about 10.5. I'd rather shade Collingwood in this game.
No other NRL games to go through, but the highly anticipated great sporting rivalry is the State of Origin. New South Wales $1.62, Queensland $2.35. The line is minus 3.5. Over under is 35.5. Toprope, I don't know how to spit this out, but is Freddie Fittler just getting a little bit complacent and trying to help Queensland at all?
Sure seems that way. Where Freddie's what Freddie did really, really well for the first few years in charge of the Blues was just really stamp his own identity on it. Yeah, as weird as that identity is, they're walking through wet grass, bare feet, to feel the ground, all that kind of hippie rubbish. It was something that really was Freddie. Yeah, he marched to the beat of his own drum, and they picked a team based on kind of Freddie's view of the world, and kind of history be damned and all that kind of stuff, and it's worked. This year, he's picked a team that's been very reactive to Queensland, like this whole seeing ghosts on the wing. Pevin picked Daniel Tupou ahead of Josh Adokar. Josh Adokar has been playing on a very bad team. He's been playing very, very well. And considering the series he had last year, absolutely disgraceful he got dropped. Why Tariq Sims in the side angle is quite not, I'll never know. So, where New South Wales have classically run themselves into trouble with was a kind of the arrogance in selections. And this is this is a side that's both arrogant in its approach as well as kind of highly defensive. So I was stunned by it. So, but all I'll say is this, B. I hope Freddie Fittler continues to coach New South Wales from now and for decades to come, because I do not want to see him anywhere near the Canterbury job, as has been touted all week.
And I saw during the week that Michael Maguire was sort of a little, might have been sort of earmarked for the Canterbury job, and you weren't totally against it.
I wasn't totally against it because he's not a moron like Brad Fittler or his predecessor Trent Barrett. So kind of someone just don't personally look. I'm not in love with Michael Maguire. Certainly not kind of my number one selection to kind of coach the Bulldogs, but considering who I'd say the unbackable favourite is at the moment, I'll grab anyone, to be honest.
And just finally, a tip: New South Wales, Queensland for the punters out there.
A couple of early thoughts. We'll put a sheet out in the GGA OA special out either today or over the weekend. I'll be back in Queensland. Hoping we can get a little bit of +4 out there. I think there's some chance we will. And I'll be back in under. Forget last year's one. For opening games, typically under games. So be careful in the under early.
Thank you, Toprope. And a reminder to punters, you can locate GGOA for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your NRL betting action. Keep an eye out for the State of Origin mail to drop very shortly. Thank you, Toprope. Good to see you again. Good to be back, MG. Thank you. A reminder, the AFL Stings can also be located in the littlebirdie.live shop for $22 a week for all your AFL betting action. That's a wrap for this week for Friday Lines. Thanks again to MG. Thank you to Toprope. You can follow us on YouTube, find us in the Apple Store, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow at Little Birdie TV on Twitter or the Instagram. Remember, all your footy betting action can be found at topsport.com.au. We'll be back next Friday. Don't forget to join Nikki on Monday for the first look with all the weekend's action and review. Have a great weekend. Punt well, punt responsibly, and go well.